So we're here live on Radio Row, Day Football Focus. How you doing today, Sam?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing well. So for the casual football fan, what does Pro Football Focus cover?
Yeah, we watch and grade every single play of every single player in the NFL, also the college level, the FBS, the FCS. Now we're getting into. We're also doing CFL, I think, this year. So we are the place that grades players and comes up with a whole bunch of unique data, unique statistics, all that kind of thing. Really creates kind of analytics and advanced numbers and metrics.
So that's pretty awesome and interesting. So we actually at Sideline Sports covered the National Scouting Combine. We got to meet a couple of your guys there when you were covering that. So we're covering the Combine, which will be coming up about a month after the Super Bowl towards the end of this month. What are you guys looking at for the new guys coming into the league?
I mean, for the Combine, we're there more for just the kind of content side of things, player interviews, discussion points, this kind of stuff, interviewing people, talking to people. We don't really do any of the grading or the analytics when it comes to the actual workouts on the field. We'll take that information and fold it into all the processes that we have, but we don't actually need to be on location to do all that. That's more for just the kind of content side of stuff that we do.
So when you guys are grading game film, or are you grading just workouts?
No, we're grading the game film. So play-by-play using, all angles available to us. The coaches film, 22, the end zone views, but also keep the TV copy as well. Sometimes you can get a really good replay using TV copy that you missed out on using just the coaches film. So we use every sort of film available to us and every single play of the NFL and college.
So, all right, say you're analyzing the Super Bowl, the grading. How long does it take to do a whole game like that?
So it's a long time. It's broken down into several different facets for us. We've got a bunch of different processes to go through in every single game. High double figures. We're talking, 60 man hours worth of grinding to each game on the website.
So when you're doing the grading, or do you do the writing of grading, or what is actually that you do there?
No, so the grading, we have a team of guys that does that. I used to be part of that team and the review process side of things. Now I'm one of our kind of content guys that does written articles. We do the PFF NFL podcast where we break down those kinds of the grading and the insights and all that kind of stuff. But I'm out of the day-to-day grading now.
So how many people will grade one game?
One game we've got it's a little bit different now. We get it broken down into so many processes. There's probably half a dozen people will individually grade one facet or other of a game by the time it goes up.
And when you were doing the grading before you got into content, what was the facet that you were responsible for?
So when I was doing it, it was before we'd actually split it out by facet. So one person would go through and they would do a game start to finish. Another person would do it as well. They would kind of double blind. And then the differences between the two would get cross-referenced by a third review analyst. So you'd have two different guys completely blind review a game, and then a third guy go through and sort of reconcile all the differences and figure out where the mistakes were.
So then you breakdown, say for a game like the Super Bowl leading into it, and looking into which team has the edge. What does Pro Football Focus show right now?
Yeah, I think it's very. We're talking about, I think, what are the two best teams in the NFL this season. I think that's a great starting point. Philadelphia, I think, has the best offensive line in the NFL, has all the way through the season. On the other hand, the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs have Travis Kelce. The Chiefs have Chris Jones. Those are arguably the three best players in the NFL at their respective positions, that will offset an awful lot. So I think this is a great game with fantastic across the board.
That's pretty interesting. Now, as far as the secondaries go, because both these teams could throw, how did the secondaries grade out?
I mean, I think Philadelphia has the better individual components. James Bradbury, Darius Slay, they've got some really high-end players playing at a very high level this season. But Kansas City secondary has been kind of punching above its weight. They've been doing a really good job against the pass. They've been rotating young players depending on guys that are sort of the hot hand or guys that they think are just favorable matchups. And they've been doing a great job against the pass as well.
So we're joined by Sam Monson, Pro Football Focus, who is telling us a little bit about the grading process and about the two teams coming in. So, I mean, we have two of probably the best quarterbacks in the league at the moment playing this game. I mean, obviously, Patrick Mahomes, 5 years in a row with the AFC Championship game, third Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, who's, doing phenomenal, setting records, year after year. How do they grade when you compare them to the rest of the league and comparatively?
I mean, I think both those guys finished with top 5 grades in the NFL this season at PFF. Obviously, both guys dealt with injuries as well, which derailed them a little bit. But Mahomes has been one of the top graded quarterbacks since he came into the NFL. A little bit of a quote-unquote down year, last year, but still a great season by most people's standards. He's, I think, the standard right now of quarterback play at the NFL level. And then this was the big breakout season from Jalen Hurts. He took a huge step forward as a passing quarterback. He'd obviously been this rushing threat since he came into the league, but this was the year we saw what he was capable of as a passer. And until he got hurt, until he got that shoulder injury, I think he was looking at being in that category along with these top guys.
So, I mean, Philadelphia went out of the offseason before the draft and brought in A.J. Brown. How did his numbers compare last year with Tennessee compared to this year with Philadelphia?
It's been a lot of the same stuff. Like A.J. Brown may not have the kind of volume that a Tyreek Hill or Justin Jefferson has, but on a sort of per route, per snap basis, A.J. Brown has had numbers over the last few years that stack him up with the best receivers in the game. He's incredibly efficient. He's extremely good against press man coverage. The tougher the assignment, the better he tends to play. I think he's a legitimate threat against pretty much any corner in the NFL.
So right now, with the ratings, are there any people at any position that would surprise us that are rated in the top, 3 or 5?
I think there's always a couple of players to jump out and show up that you wouldn't necessarily think of. Like this season, we got breakout years in the offensive line. Guys like Andrew Thomas took a huge step forward for the Giants. Christian Darrisaw, another huge leap forward for the Vikings. I think PFF tends to be very good at sort of showing those guys, ahead of the curve. They're very good at showing them when they first break on the scene, and then they end up becoming those household names.
So when you're looking at this game, you said it's pretty evenly matched, and both teams stack up pretty well. So you're saying when you broke down the secondary, you say Kansas City has done more of a job playing together and stepping up as opposed to the Eagles. In the secondary.
Yeah, I think Kansas City's is more a case where the secondary or the pass coverage is greater than the sum of their parts, and then the Eagles, it might not be any greater than the sum of their parts, but the sum of the parts is pretty good.
Now, when rating overall defenses, looking at the NFC, you had the Cowboys, San Francisco, Philadelphia, who's done a great job all year putting pressure on quarterbacks. Who's come out as the number one defense this year?
I think overall we had the 49ers as the number one defense in the NFL, just top to bottom. They were the most complete unit. They didn't really have a big weakness. Now Philadelphia managed to find one in the NFC Championship game. They really zeroed in on Javon Kinlaw, their interior defensive tackle, and really bulldozed him out of the way on a bunch of plays. But that Eagles defense, or the 49ers defense, even against the Eagles in a game where they had no quarterback, they were behind the 8 ball the whole way, they still did a pretty good job slowing down Philadelphia.
So now, in all your time working at Pro Football Focus and analyzing and putting out content, what was the one thing you covered that you enjoyed most?
I think the whole thing has just been exciting to see this riot. Like when I was one of the first guys in the door at PFF way back when we were didn't exist. Analytics wasn't really a thing in the NFL. Grading certainly wasn't a thing. And, it's gone from a few guys kind of doing this quietly behind the scenes and hoping to get noticed somewhere to, now we're here on Radio Row and experiencing the whole thing. And all 32 NFL teams are clients of PFS, all like 100 plus FBS teams. Like, just seeing the growth of the whole thing has been kind of crazy.
Now, I mean, with the insurgents, with what you guys do, is that, you think that's helping you grow, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think PFF data, the wealth of information that we have, helps people figure out where to put their money. Right? It helps you figure out what the best bets are. It helps you figure out how to get an edge and that kind of thing. And it's never going to be, a perfect system. It's never going to be the cheat code to winning money, but it's going to get you, a percentage point here or there, which is the difference between breaking even and losing money by the end of the year.
Definitely. So tell us more about the PFF podcast. Where can people find it? How often is it out?
Yeah, anywhere you get your podcasts. We're also on YouTube as well. If you're one of these people like podcasts on YouTube, one of our guys like to do that. And we're moving to 5 days a week. We were 3 during the season. We're usually 2 during the off season, but we're scaling up. We're going 5 days a week.
So now 5 days a week in the off season. So in the off season, what do you guys do? And I know we went over through the season and the combine. What are we doing in the off season at PFF so that you guys?
I mean, certainly from now until the draft, we're fine. We got plenty to talk about. It's team building season. That's, I think, some of the most fun discussions for us. In-depth teams and figuring out how to, improvements, make and where to add players and all those kinds of things. So we're up to free agency. That's only a couple of weeks away at this stage. Then we go all the way through the draft. And then we got some time to fill before football is back.
So Sam, we definitely appreciate you taking the time. Make sure you subscribe to the PFF podcast. I know I like to gamble every now and then. There's plenty of options for that. Get the information from the best, get the best stats, the best analytics. Got to go to PFF for that. That I know. So I appreciate you taking the time. You're always welcome to come on.
Thanks for having me.
And also, I do want to say before you go, our friends at the SGC Foundation, which is a charity that raises money for children's hospitals throughout the country. If you like a cigar, they give us some cigars to out. If you smoke, definitely take one.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. You have fun. I know you're busy running around today, so try and enjoy it as well.
That's good. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Sam.